Now that I've just got clean water coming back out of the heater core, we know we've removed the clog and we start putting everything back together. I like to start with the bottom hose and the bottom clip, and then I move to the top hose and the top clip. So your vehicle's up to temperature, but you've got no hot air coming out of your heat vents. The fix may be as simple as flushing your heater core. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to do a couple quick checks and to flush the heater core. So your vehicle's been running, it's fully up to temperature, and you don't have any hot air coming out. The check to see if your heater core is clogged is pretty simple. You're going to want to locate the two heater hoses that go into the heater core and come back out of the heater core. For this vehicle, the two hoses are located back here. They come off of the tensioner here, and they go into the firewall down here. To check to see if you have a clog in the heater core, you'll want to make sure the vehicle is running. You have the hot air turned all the way up. You'll be feeling to see if you have a temperature difference between the top and the bottom hose. So on this vehicle, I can feel the top hose is warm going into the heater core, but the bottom hose here is cool to the touch. The temperature difference between the top and the bottom hose is indicating that there's a plug inside the heater core, and the hot coolant is not making it through the core fully. Now that you've verified there's a temperature difference between the top and the bottom hose here, you're going to want to let the vehicle sit and cool down. We're going to leave the vehicle for about an hour. You want to make sure the vehicle is not hot when you disconnect these two hoses. We've now let the vehicle sit and cool, so we can start the process of flushing out the heater core. To begin, you're going to need a ratchet with a 10mm socket. You're going to remove the two bolts here. You can now lift up the overflow for the coolant, and we can get this out of our way. Now that you've got the coolant overflow out of the way, you've exposed the two clips here. Now that you've got access to the two clips here, we're going to remove them. I start with the top one. Now that we've got the two clips removed, we can remove each heater hose off of the nipple. So you will release a little bit of coolant when removing these hoses. I've set up a catch pan underneath to try to catch as much of the coolant as I can during the flush. The lower hose is being a bit stubborn, so what you'll do is grab a pair of vice grips. You don't want to pinch down too hard on the hose, but you'll grip the hose and you'll slowly move back and forth until you've broken the seal. And just like that, you'll be able to pop the hose off. If you still are struggling a bit, you can use a flathead screwdriver and slowly get underneath the bottom of the hose and help guide it up a bit. Now that you've got both hoses disconnected, you're ready to do the coolant flush. You'll need your garden hose. I grabbed a ball valve. This will allow you to control the water flow at the hoses, and then a 3/4 inch nipple that'll attach. This size will allow you to go inside of each hose. Now they're ready to start. I'm going to attach the hose to the nipple. I like to start with the top hose, and I'll watch the bottom hose. I'll run it until only clean water is coming out.
I like to turn it off and on multiple times. That'll help the pressure push out any clogs in the heater core.
We'll now switch to the lower hose and do the same thing. I like using the ball valve in the nipple. It gives you a little bit more control than trying to use a garden hose and just a sprayer. And it allows you to use the full pressure of the garden hose to clear out any clogs. Depending how clogged your heater core is, you may need to go back and forth a few times. I'm running out clean water now, so I know my clog is gone. Now that I've just got clean water coming back out of the heater core, we know we've removed the clog and we start putting everything back together. I like to start with the bottom hose and the bottom clip, and then I move to the top hose and the top clip. So like I said, we're going to start with the bottom one. Should slide back onto the nipple. That's re-secured. We can move to the top one. And the top one is re-secured. Now that we've got both hoses re-secured, we can reinstall the overflow. We're now going to run the car, re-top up the coolant, and let it get up to temperature, and we'll check the heat that's coming out. We're now ready to add any coolant that's needed and get the car up to temperature. Start by opening up the radiator cap. You can use a funnel to fill up any missing coolant. I like to use just an old jug. We're going to be filling up with Desk Cool 50/50 premix. You shouldn't need to add a lot if your vehicle was already up to the proper amount of coolant previously. For this particular vehicle, I have a bleeder valve, so I'm going to remove the engine cover. Located on my thermostat housing, I have a 10 mil bleeder valve. I'm just going to crack this open lightly. I'm now going to start the car, turn the heat to full, and we'll let it run. As the vehicle runs, you'll want to slowly add coolant as needed. My radiator is now full. I'm going to put the cap back on, and I'll use the bleeder valve to release any air stuck in the system. As the vehicle runs and warms up, I like to take the socket and the extension off, and I control the bleeder valve by hand. You want to make sure you don't take it fully out. I wait to see a little bit of bubbling right around the bottom of the socket there. That's allowing us to release any air that's stuck in the system. While the vehicle warms up, I continuously check the temperature inside the vehicle. I also like to check the heater core hoses. So the top hose is hot, and the bottom hose is hot, also coming back out. So we know we pushed the clog out of the system. We just have to bleed out any air now. As I slowly release, you could start to see a bunch of the bubbles coming around the bottom of the bleeder. That's pushing out any of the air that's stuck in the system. The vehicle is up to full operating temperature, and the heat coming out of the vents is hot. Both the top and bottom heater core hoses are hot. When I open up the bleeder, I now just see a smooth stream coming out. So this is indicating to me that I've removed all the air out of the system. You want to make sure you tighten down the bleeder fully. So I'm using the ratchet again. And I can now shut the vehicle off. You can now replace the engine cover. And just like that, you've flushed your heater core. If you found this video helpful, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.